Alright. Well, I know there are a billion Glock videos on the internet, but this one is mine. We are going to be going over Glock 34, Gen 5 MOS. I do have a few things here and there different on mine, just to make everyone at home feel better. This is empty. I do clear them prior to videoing, but just so you guys know as well. Alright. This is my Glock 34 MOS Gen 5. I've worn this trigger in, but it was not this good out of the gate. Those of you who have spotted this already, I do have a Timney trigger shoe in here. The trigger bar and the trigger housing back here, all of that is stock. I do not mess with the internals of guns that I plan to carry or use for any type of defensive role, especially when it comes to Glocks. This gun is already one of, if not the most, proven designs for reliability. Everyone knows what a Glock is. There's a reason they're as popular as they are. As many agencies carry them as they do. I have mine set up with the Trigicon RMO6. This one is a fairly new model. The one on my Glock 19 has been beat to hell and back. This one's a little bit better cared for. Doesn't get carried with me every day and thrown around in the work truck like crazy. But yeah, got the Trigicon RMO6, the Surefire X300UA. This is the model that does not have the thumb screw. Standard Picatinny attachment, the little levers that you pull down. I like the thumb screw style that you see on a lot of Streamlights. And I know Surefire makes it too. I guess I just know it more for Streamlights. But no, this thing is perfect. Does the job. Very wide flood. Love the X300. Plus side to it, if you ever run out of ammo or your gun has a malfunction you can't clear, this doubles as a baseball bat. And just really go to town if you need to. But all jokes aside, probably one of the most durable and tested flashlights out there. Anything from Surefire is going to be amazing. But also, you have to pay the Surefire price to get it too, which I'm not too fond of. For my rifle lights, I stick with Surefire. For this gun, which its role is mainly a bedside table, or if I'm going out to the range and I'm practicing, and I guess you could call this more of like a main handgun, like a battle handgun, if that's a thing. It's a weird way of putting it. I'll put this on my belt with AR mag, 2 pistol mags. This will be in a safari land. I practice with this very often. Though it doesn't have as many rounds as my 19. This probably only has about 600, 700 rounds through it. But Glock 34 has always been one of my favorites. The very first handgun I ever bought was a Glock 35, chambered in .40, Smith & Wesson. Eventually got rid of that, swapped to the 19 when I was old enough to carry a handgun on me all the time. And I knew I wanted to get me another Glock, set it up similarly, something a little bit larger, really fill out hands. Not that the 19 doesn't, it does just fine, but I feel like I can really just dig into this, get a good grip on it, better than my 19, which it's a full-size handgun. Makes sense. I don't know. I felt like the 17 was too close to the 19. I know this is the same frame as the 17, but this long slide, and with the Gen 5 models, they went away with the little cutaway that used to be right here on the top. It just seemed perfect for me. I don't know why I never could get behind buying one of those long slide Glocks that had the cutaway in the top. I just felt like that was an easy way to get some sort of debris in your gun and induce a malfunction. I think all the lightning cuts, I see a lot of custom work where people have lightning cuts, holes cut out in their slides. I think it looks amazing. For a showpiece, that's awesome. Competition gun, have at it. For a home defense gun or a duty gun, which is the role that I think I would categorize this in, I don't want any weaknesses on it. I want this to be bomb-proof, built like a tank, as well as everything on it. So that's why you see RMR doubles as a hammer, X300 doubles as a baseball bat. And the only thing I replaced trigger-wise was the shoe, because I prefer a flat face trigger. And you really can't go wrong. I do have some Ameriglo GL411s on here. They just barely sit higher than the RMR. For that lower, honestly, it's probably just barely able to see it through that window. Trijicon RMR window is small. They fixed that with the RMR HDs, but I do not have an RMR HD. I had to work with what I had. If you get you a Trijicon RMR, you can't go wrong. These things are built like a tank. You change the batteries out every year or so. I'll change mine on my birthday. Your optic is never going to go down. With the RMRs, SRO, most Holosun pistol optics, and still getting used to the Delta Point. The Delta Point's a new one for me. But I will say for the Holosuns and the Trijicon optics, you change these out every year, it'll never go down on you. There's really no need for backup irons. At all, in my opinion. But that is just it, my opinion, my thoughts on it. Yeah, it is hard to beat a Glock 34. This thing just, it feels like a solid, well put together handgun. Now, it is a Glock. It does have standard internals. I did not polish the trigger bar. So, I'll go over the trigger press with you. We're going to start off the trigger. That's it. Take that slop out. We're at the wall. Probably took about a good 5.5 pounds of pressure. This trigger is not as good as my 19. The 19 has thousands of rounds through it. This does not. But I'll let you guys see that reset. There it is. Pull back through. Boom. All in all, I mean, it is a good trigger. Standard pull weight. I'd say 5 pounds is a good duty gun pull weight for a trigger. Of course, there are better and there are worse. But this is just fine by me. You can practice with anything and get proficient with it. It's just a matter of training, devoting time to your weapon. You know, somebody that's got your, say, $300 striker fire gun, who's put thousands and thousands of rounds through it, countless reps, they are going to be a lot more of a threat than somebody with a, you know, Atlas Gunworks 1911, 2011, who could only afford to put 5 rounds through it after the price of the gun. You know, there's trade-offs. Now, if you can run an Atlas and tens of thousands of rounds of ammo through it at the same time, Lord help you. That is a scary, scary combo. But for all intents and purposes, Glock 34 Gen 5 MOS is an amazing, amazing weapon. There are some things that you would want to change out on this, like the irons. Your Gen 5 Glocks, unless you're buying a 19X, they still come with your white dot iron sights that every new Glock owner should immediately take off the gun and throw away. Still comes with that mushy flat face trigger, or sorry, mushy curve trigger. I usually just change that out for a flat face, and instead of polishing things up, I just take it to the range and run the absolute piss out of it to break it in. I get reps in, plus I get to break my gun in a bit more. If there's going to be any problems with it, I'm going to find out. But this one has been good for me, just like every other Glock I've ever owned. I recommend everyone have one in their collection. Say you have your good compact carry gun, whether that be a SIG or a Canic, Staccato's CS. You want you something that's a more full-size duty gun like this, get you a 34. You cannot go wrong. Glock is a Glock is a Glock. I mean, you'll see a million different people set them up a million different ways. But personally, this is mine. This is how I like to run it. It's been the same ever since I set it up this way. And I wouldn't change a thing about it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I think that's about it for me. And I will see you guys in the next one. I think I'm going to cover my wife's PDP. I've got a couple guns I'm working on at the moment. And trying to currently acquire a brace for my SIG MCX pistol to do a video on. I'd like to get a lot more rounds through that. Have some actual range time before I put out a video. If I did it right now, it'd mainly just be about how the gun feels in my hands. And nobody wants to hear about that. So, I'll see you guys next time.